What's going on, everybody? It's Aurora coming at you with a brand new video. And if you couldn't already tell from my voice, I am sick as hell, or at least I'm in the recovery process. I've had like a really bad cold or something, and I'm currently just really congested. So if you notice frequent cuts because I'm taking a break to get water, then I apologize. But I'm not going to let that stop me from doing my job, and that is covering the brand new Nouvelles archetype. I think that's how you pronounce it, Nouvelles, something like that. I know it's French, but this is the new deck build pack Wild Survivors archetype. We just got Transcendric revealed, now we're getting this one. This is the food-based one, and I'm pretty sure Hungry Burger is actually being reprinted in the set and the ritual spell, so that's really funny. But I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get right into this. This one is a much larger archetype than the Transcendrics. This has, I believe, like 11 different cards, which is more normal than usual. So apparently the names could be subject to change, and they tried their best. I was wondering why it was taking them so long. It's been like an hour and a half since this was revealed, but I don't know anything about this archetype other than that all of the monsters are rituals, and then they have like 3 back row pieces or 3 spells, 3 traps. Sorry. So starting off, we have Buerlabias de Nouvelles. I don't know, dude. This is a level 1 Dark Beast Warrior Ritual Effect monster. 400 attack, 1850 defense. You can ritual summon in this card with any recipe card. Oh my god, it's actually Hungry Burger support. This is awesome. So it says you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. And if you do, you can add an excavated Nouvelles card to your hand. Also shuffle the rest back into the deck. When a card or effect is activated that targets this card, or when this card is targeted for an attack, quick effect, you contribute this card and one other attack position monster on either field. And if you do, special summon a level 2 or 3 Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand or deck. So this seems pretty neat overall. I mean, on summon, getting to excavate top 5. So basically you get to almost maximum prosperity and then add any Nouvelles card. That's awesome. And then the second effect is kind of like, it reminds me of a Megalith Full. I think according to a message that I got from Dark Tome on Twitter, he was trying to talk to me about it without spoiling it, and then he ended up spoiling it anyway. Apparently, their gimmick is probably special summoning themselves from or not themselves, but each other from the deck. And being that you can use an opponent's attack position monster if you want to is really nice. Going to be good for board breaking. Rituals already have a bunch of amazing support, so if this can work with something like Drytron, that would probably be huge. But depending on how these other ritual monsters look, this isn't a bad start. Next up, we have Confitras de Nouvelles. This is a level 2 Dark Warrior ritual effect monster. Damn, it's level 2 and Dark Warrior. It's got some of the best stats going for it. It's got 800 attack and 1850 defense. You can summon it with any recipe card, and you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. On special summon, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And the second effect is when a card or effect is activated that targets this card, or when it's targeted for an attack. You can tribute both of this and another attack position monster on either field. And if you do, special summon a level 3 or 4 Nouvelles ritual monster from hand or deck. This one definitely doesn't seem as good as the first one, which I'm not even going to try. Borilla, I'm going to call it Borilla. It doesn't seem as good as Borilla, because Borilla actually gets your plays going, whereas this is kind of just a spell and trap pop. I'm assuming the next one's probably going to be a monster pop. Not bad at all, but honestly not as good as the first one we looked at. Next up, we have, oh dear god, Puelitis de Nouvelles. Oh, come on, you can't keep doing this to me with these tongue twisters. I am not foreign. This level 3 Dark Beast Warrior ritual effect monster. It has 1200 attack and 1850 defense. You can ritual summon it with any recipe card, and you can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can draw 1 card, and when a card or effect is active, blah 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 blah, you can target a Nouvelles. Oh no, sorry, it says target a monster on the field. Is that? Oh no, so this one is targets this card, and this one is targets this card. So this one is actually targets a monster on the field, or when a monster is targeted for attack, so it's actually a little bit less specific. You can tribute a Nouvelles and attack position monster on either field, and summon a 4 or 5. So this one does get to draw you a card that can be good for drawing into hand traps, board breakers, whatever. Still not as good as Borwillabis, whatever it's called, but it's still a little bit better than Confi in my opinion. Next we have Glacia de Nouvelles. I am butchering literally all of these. It is a level 4 Dark Warrior with 1600 attack, 1850 defense. You can ritual summon it with any recipe card, blah blah blah, each effect once per turn. On special summon, you can target up to 3 cards in any graveyards and shuffle them into the deck. And when a card or effect is activated that targets a monster is targeted for an attack, tribute, blah blah blah, level 5 or level 6. They literally all have the same effect. What do you want me to do? So this is basically an on summon a Shizu card, really not bad at all, especially if you can time it properly with certain other effects. I'm not too sure, given that it's not like Megalith Full where you can time it like however you want. You have to like wait for a trigger. So unless they have their own things that do that, it can be kind of annoying, but still not bad at all. Getting rid of stuff from the graveyard, as we all know, is amazing. So next we have Balamuniere de Nouvelles. It's a Dark level 5 Beast Warrior. Okay, I was gonna say it's like split up for some reason. So Dark level 5 Beast Warrior, 2000 attack, 1850 defense. You ritual summon it with any recipe, you only use each effect. On special summon, you can add a Nouvelles or recipe card from your deck to your hand. And you can target an opponent's attack position monster, tribute it, and if you do, special a level 6 Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand or deck. And this is a quick effect if this card was special summoned by a Nouvelles monster's effect. So this one seems really nice actually. On summon, adding literally anything that you want is really nice, especially because it can be any card. Much like Guerrilla, you can basically get anything instead of just like specifically a spell or trap or a monster. And then I like that this one not only doesn't require a trigger, but if you summon it off of the Fouglacia or the Pueletes, you can basically make it a quick effect. So it's basically a much better form of disruption than having to rely on something getting targeted. Sorry, I'm like so messed up right now. Not to mention that it doesn't have to tribute itself, so you can actually keep this and get the level 6 boss monster out. Speaking of the level 6 boss monster, we have Bay Griller. This is the one that was revealed on the artwork reveal. It is a level 6 Dark Warrior with 2400 attack and 1850 defense. You ritual summon it with any recipe card, and you can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can negate the effects of as many face-up cards your opponent controls currently as possible. Then, if it was special summoned by a Nouvelles monster's effect, tribute all monsters they control. And quick effect, you can target an opponent's attack position monster, tribute it, and if you do, special summon a Hungry Burger from your hand or deck. Yes! So let's sit here and think about how cracked this card is. Wow. So on special summon, whether it was summoned by a Nouvelles effect or not, like if you summon this off of like one of the traps that let you ritual or something, I'm assuming one of their traps also will let you do that. You can literally non-target, by the way, imperm everything, literally everything, and then if you summon it off of the Balamuniere, or I think, yeah, it also works off of Fouglacia, so if you summon it off of either of those, you can tribute all of their monsters. So keep in mind, it not only wipes all of their monsters, but because it's tributing, it'll end up getting rid of a lot of things that would otherwise have protection, sorry. And then on top of that, even if they continue to play, you can quick effect, remove one of their attack position monsters, and then special a free Hungry Burger from hand or deck. I love that a Hungry Burger is actually finally getting support here. Overall, a very strong boss monster if you can actually get the deck's theme going. So next up, we have their field spell, Nouvelles Auberge à Table. I don't know, dude. It's a field spell that says you can only activate one of it per turn. When it resolves, you can add a recipe card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, you can place a ritual monster from your hand on the bottom of the deck, draw a card, and during your end phase, you can target 2 cards in your graveyard, including at least a recipe card, place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, and then draw 1 card. This is a really strong field spell, so on activation, adding any recipe card from your deck or grave to hand, meaning it's both consistency and recursion. Speaking of more consistency, you can just place a ritual monster that you don't want or need from your hand on the bottom and then draw a card. And then speaking of recursion, you can basically Daigusto Emerald 2 cards from your grave, like any 2 cards by the way, as long as one of them's a recipe card. You can shuffle them, or not shuffle them, place them on the bottom and then draw another card. This deck seems to be very good at drawing more cards, so you can honestly play a lot of hand traps in here most likely. Very nice field spell. So next up is their first ritual spell. I know they have 2. This is Recette de Poisson, and it's not poison, it's poisson or something like that, because it means fish, I know that. It says fish recipe, and it can be used to ritual summon any Nouvelles ritual monster. You can ritual summon a Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. And then if you ritual summoned Nouvelles de Nouvelles, the level 1, with this effect, you can add a recipe ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Poisson. So this is just another really strong card for the back row lineup. So ritual summoning literally anything you want from your hand, that's a Nouvelles. Really nice, obviously, especially because it allows you to exceed the level, which obviously is going to be very important when you're summoning the level 1. And then if you do summon the level 1, you can add another recipe ritual spell from your deck or grave to hand, which of course, as I said, they have another one, so not being able to add Poisson doesn't really matter. So next up, we have Recette de Viande meat recipe. It can be used to ritual summon any Nouvelles ritual monster. Ritual summon a Nouvelles from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. Then if you ritual summon Confitress, the one that pops, the level 2, with this effect, you can change all opponents' defense position monsters to face-up attack position. So I was actually thinking about how they were going to deal with an opponent that just puts everything in defense. A deck like Branded, obviously, they don't have Link monsters, so they can just put everything in defense, so you won't really have as easy of a time to get rid of their stuff. But, I mean, hey, this allows you to put everything into attack position, even though you do end up ritual summoning, like, arguably the worst one in the archetype. But, again, not bad, especially because you can easily add the Confi off of the Borealis. So you can basically go Borealis Ritual Summon off of the first one, the Fish Recipe. Fish Recipe, add this. Borealis, add the Confitress, and then this use something to go into the Confitress and then get a free pop and all of the things into attack position. So next up is their first trap. It is a continuous trap. I know they have 2 traps. This is Recette de Personnel Cook's Recipe. It says it is a continuous trap that you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. Target a ritual monster you control. Special a Nouvelles token with 50 attack and defense. It's a Fiend Dark level 1. And if you do, its level becomes that monster's. You can send this face-up card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard, ritual summon a Nouvelles ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal exactly the level of the monster you summon. So this card actually seems a bit underwhelming at first until you realize that the targeting does proc all of their effects. So this one procs literally all of the level 4 and lower, sorry, I should say, when a card or effect is activated that targets a monster on the field. So you get the token, and also on top of that, you also get the free special from your deck. And it's really cool because even the thing that you target gets replaced by a token, which is pretty damn nice, because then that gives you fodder for the second effect, allowing you to ritual summon. This means you can do it on your opponent's turn because it's a trap card, but this is just a really easy way to get something like Bay Griller or the other one, the Bois Monaire or whatever it's called, the level 5 and the level 6. I'm just gonna call them by their levels. You can get the level 5 or the level 6 out really easily. You just have to make sure that you get the exact levels because otherwise it can be really annoying. But yeah, really nice trap card overall. And then their final card in the archetype that isn't Hungry Burger. This is Recette de Specialty, Chef's Specialty Recipe. This is a counter trap that says you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated and you control a Nouvelles ritual monster, negate the activation. Then if you control a monster special summoned by a Nouvelles monster's effect, you can destroy that card. And if you special summon a Hungry Burger, you can banish this card from your graveyard, tribute all monsters your opponent controls. So as far as Infernity Barrier trap cards go, this is a pretty damn nice one. So admittedly, you do have to control a Nouvelles ritual monster to do it, and then if you have a Nouvelles ritual monster effect monster, you know what I mean, that's the only time you can destroy. But if you're hitting a spell or trap card, it doesn't really matter because you're probably going to like not really care if it's destroyed. But I like the graveyard effect because you're going to play at least 1 copy of Hungry Burger in the deck off of your level 6, because the level 6 is going to summon. So literally, you can, like in theory, you can summon this, wipe all of their monsters. They summon more monsters, like say it's a deck that can like really spam out. So they have like 2 or 3 monsters on board, you tribute all of them, then they summon 2 or 3 more monsters, you tribute one of them, summon Hungry Burger from your deck, banish this from your graveyard, and then you wipe all of their monsters again. I'm gonna be honest, this seems to be really deadly, and I love the fact that it centers around Hungry fucking Burger. But that is it for the Nouvelles archetype, at least the best that I could cover it in my very scuffed, sick voice. So what do I think about this deck? Honestly, I'm kinda digging it. So admittedly, it definitely seems like it could be a bit clunky because it does rely on things being targeted. So a deck that really either doesn't target very much or has like no targeting effects, something like, for example, Tri-Brigade, they're not really targeting anything. And then when they go into Shuriken, which has like their actual removal, that doesn't target either. So it's like, it really depends on the matchup, I guess. Though you definitely can supplement it by using their continuous trap, which is pretty nice, though you would have to get it preemptively, which could prevent you from getting like a different thing, like if you're getting it off of Borealis. However, I do like the sheer amount of removal that this deck has. While what it lacks in like raw attack power and stuff, it definitely makes up for in huge amounts of removal, to where, especially if you combine it with an archetype like Drytron and like their Draconids and stuff like that, you can easily punch out enough damage for game after wiping your opponent's entire board. I really like that you're not only wiping them off of these effects like tributing all their monsters, negating the effects of all their face-up cards, but you're also wiping them off of each individual Nouvelles monster, so you can easily just climb and climb and climb and just keep wiping all of your opponent's stuff. And then at the same time, you're getting other cool effects, like you're excavating something. Well, okay, this one you actually can't summon off of any of them, but you can pop one of their back row, you can draw a card, you can target 3 cards in the grave and shuffle them. You know, this one is adding something from your deck that you can use for follow-up. Like, yeah, not not gonna lie, I'm definitely really digging how this archetype plays, and then they have a shit ton of consistency between Tebel, the poisson fish recipe, adding your meat recipe, and then of course all of it gets rounded off by allowing you to play Hungry Burger, which is probably like the real winner here. I think especially if you combine this archetype with something like Drytron or even Incantations if you really felt like it, you could definitely go very far, especially if they do end up getting like 1 or 2 pieces of support in the future like a lot of deck build pack archetypes do. Personally, I think that this deck has a lot of potential, especially once someone can find the perfect build for it, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down in the comments below, because that's going to do it for the video. If you liked it, please sure to leave a like, as I'll put this video and the channel into YouTube recommended, and if you like this content, you want to see more like it, like the rest of my review series, I try to review every new archetype that comes out and every wave of support, then perhaps consider subscribing, because we're going to try to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, not to mention it supports the channel more than anything else, and it's absolutely free. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.